Hey everyone and welcome. So, what if I told you that you could add years to your life, and not just years, but good years, without some crazy diet or a workout plan that just leaves you exhausted? Well, today we are diving into the 1% path. This incredible idea that tiny, almost unnoticeable steps, when you do them consistently, can lead to a long, vibrant life. So, let's just start with this question right here. What if the big secret to living to 100 wasn't actually a secret at all? What if it had nothing to do with some miracle pill or winning the genetic lottery? What if it was something that's way more accessible, something that's literally right within our reach right now?
Well, here's the thing. The famous Danish twin study gave us a massive clue. It found that our genes, the stuff we're born with, only account for about 20% of how long we live. So what about the other 80%? That, my friends, is all us. It's our lifestyle, our environment, it's the part we can actually do something about.
And if you want proof, you just have to look at the blue zones. These are these 5 incredible pockets of the world. We're talking places like Okinawa in Japan and Sardinia in Italy, where people don't just live longer, they live better. They're active and full of life well past 100. And their day-to-day habits, they're basically a living, breathing roadmap for how to make the most of that 80% we control.
Okay, so if the roadmap is right there, why is it so ridiculously hard to actually follow it? I mean, we've all been there, right? You start a new routine, you're all in, you've got the best intentions, and then a week later, you're right back where you started. So let's talk about why making a real, lasting change feels so impossible sometimes.
Ring any bells? I just don't have time. Or there's so much conflicting advice out there I don't even know where to start. And my personal favorite, well, I ate one cookie, so I guess the whole day is ruined. That all-or-nothing mindset, mixed with all the confusing info and that feeling like you're depriving yourself, man, those are powerful roadblocks that just trip us up again and again.
And you know what? Let's just bust a huge myth right now. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. It takes 21 days to form a new habit. It's a nice, clean little number, and it gets repeated everywhere. But here's the deal. The science shows it's just plain wrong.
Yeah, the reality is a little different. Research actually shows that it takes, on average, more than 2 months, about 66 days, for a new behavior to really become automatic. And for some people, it can take way longer than that. So let me be really clear here. If you're struggling after 3 weeks, you are not failing. You're completely normal.
And this brings us to a huge shift in thinking, a total turning point in how we should approach change. If it's not about just gritting your teeth and having more willpower, then what is it? Well, here's the answer. The problem isn't you. The problem is your system.
This quote from James Clear, who wrote the amazing book Atomic Habits, is everything. Just let that sink in for a second. We all have goals, right? Lose weight, get in shape, whatever. But our actual results, they're decided by our daily routines. The little processes we follow every day. They're decided by our systems.
Let me put it this way. A goal is like the destination you type into your GPS. Say, lose 20 pounds. It tells you where you want to go. But the system, that's the car. It's the engine, the wheels, the daily act of actually driving. You can stare at the destination on the map all you want, but you are not going anywhere without a reliable system to get you there, day in and day out.
So if the answer is building better systems, how in the world do we actually do that? Well, luckily for us, there's a simple, scientifically proven framework that's based on how our brains are literally wired. Let's break it down.
Get this. Every single habit you have, whether it's good or bad, follows this exact 4-step loop in your brain. It starts with the cue, something that triggers your brain to get the ball rolling. That leads to a craving, which is that motivation or desire. The craving then drives a response, that's the actual habit itself. And finally, you get a reward, which feels good and tells your brain, hey, remember this loop? Let's do it again.
Now, the cool part is we can totally hack this loop. We can use it to our advantage with what James Clear calls the 4 laws of behavior change. If you want to build a good habit, you just have to follow these rules. Make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the response easy, and make the reward satisfying. It's basically a cheat sheet for designing a better you.
And maybe the most powerful tool in this whole toolkit, especially for that first law, make it obvious, is a technique called habit stacking. The idea here is absolutely brilliant. Instead of trying to pull a new habit out of thin air, you just piggyback it onto a habit you already do without even thinking. You link the new thing to an old, established routine.
And the formula could not be simpler. It's just, after I do my current habit, I will do my new habit.
So, for example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. See? Your existing habit, making coffee, becomes the trigger, the cue for the new one. It's that straightforward.
All right, let's bring this all full circle. We can take this exact habit stacking framework and use it to build the kinds of healthy systems we see in the blue zones. We're going to focus on 3 big pillars: movement, eating, and rest.
So, here's a fun fact. People in blue zones don't really work out. They just move. Their environments are set up to nudge them into moving all day long. We can create that same kind of nudge with a habit stack. Look at this example. You already take off your work shoes every day, right? By linking that action to immediately changing into your workout clothes, you've made going for a walk or a run so much easier. The decision is already made for you.
In Okinawa, they have this 2,500-year-old saying, hara hachibu, which is a little reminder to stop eating when you feel about 80% full. It's really a mindfulness practice. To build a similar habit, you could try a stack like this one. Just pausing to feel grateful right after you sit down for a meal can break that cycle of mindless eating and create a little space for intention.
Every single blue zone culture has routines for shedding stress, and they all prioritize sleep. They know that bad sleep is just a huge stressor on the body. So here's a game-changing habit stack for our modern lives. You link the cue, getting into bed, with the response, put my phone on a charger on the other side of the room, boom. You've just made the right choice, the easy choice. You've completely short-circuited that endless late-night scroll before your willpower even has to show up.
So, as you can see, none of these changes are about some massive life-altering event. This is not about completely overhauling your entire life overnight. It's about something much more powerful and sustainable. It's about embracing the philosophy of tiny, consistent 1% improvements. And the math here is just mind-blowing. If you can manage to get just 1% better at something each day for a year, by the end of that year, you will be 37 times better. It's insane. The difference that one tiny improvement can make over time is absolutely incredible. It's the power of compounding returns, but for your life.
And this, right here, is the real secret sauce. This is why it works. It's not just about doing things, it's about building a new identity. Every time you do one of these tiny habits, you put on your gym clothes, you take that moment of gratitude, you put your phone away, you are literally casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. You're proving to yourself, one small win at a time, that you are that person.
So I'm going to leave you with this. Forget about the huge, intimidating goal of living to 100. Just for today, forget about it. Instead, just focus on the very next choice, the next tiny action. What is the one small 1% improvement you can make? What's the one small vote you can cast for your future self today?